Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome back to this lecture series of BSc with Chemistry, discipline specific elective of quantum chemistry, spectroscopy and photochemistry. In our last lecture, we have started with chemical bonding. In this lecture, we will continue the remaining part. In our last lecture, we have seen chemical bonds, Born-Oppenheimer approximation and valence bond approach. In this lecture, we will continue with the molecular orbital approach, LCAO, MO treatment to hydrogen molecular ion, and bonding and anti-bonding orbitals. Now friends, the valence bond theory of Hitler and London was, as we know, was developed and extended to larger molecules by Pauling and Slater, and that we have seen in our last lecture. We have seen the features of these theories in our earlier lecture, and although we have not seen the application in practice for hydrogen molecule, however, we will do it in due course of time in this lecture series. But at this time, it is customary to discuss the alternate method derived by Hund and Buliken in 1932, and it is somewhat similar to the way we build helium and other atomic wave functions by using the product of hydrogen like or single electron wave functions. We know that there is only one molecular system for which Schrodinger wave equation has been solved analytically, that is hydrogen molecular ion. And therefore, we will discuss here the theoretical treatment of linear combination of atomic orbital LCAO MO applied to hydrogen molecular ion. Once again, the Born-Oppenheimer approximation enables us to treat the molecule like an atom, with only exception that there are more than one nucleus. However, electron is one, particularly in this case. So the Schrodinger wave equation for such a system is given by your equation 1. Now the wave function psi, which is given here, is the eigenfunction of the single electron, which is called as molecular orbital, and the complete electronic wave function, or more appropriately the antisymmetrized product of spin orbital of all the electrons, in general is given by this particular part, wherein this psi1 of 1 is actually comprising of two parts, that is psi1 of 1 and alpha 1, and this is particularly is the spin orbital of electron 1 with molecular orbital psi1, and its spin is alpha 1, whereas the other part, that is psi1 bar 2, is psi1 of 2 into beta of 2, and it is the electron 2 with the same molecular orbital psi1 with the spin beta, and so on. So this is a generalized wave function which we can give over here. So now if I try to summarize, or if I try to use this analogy for writing wave function, we can actually say that electron can occupy the molecular orbital following the same rules. We know that it follows the Pauli exclusion principle, it follows the Hund's rule, and obviously the Aufbau principle. So all these principles are applied to the atomic orbital, and the same are being followed here. We also know that the existence of hydrogen molecular ion has been established in the discharge tube. So the energy required for its dissociation is 2.79 electron volt, and the ground state bond length is 1.06 Armstrong. So what is our job here is, now we will apply the molecular orbital theory to hydrogen molecular ion, and we would verify its ability to reach to the actual value. And for this, let us assume a trial function of the form of, say, linear combination of atomic orbital individually, that is phi a is the one atomic orbital and phi b is another atomic orbital, and we can combine this psi of this form, that is psi is equal to C1 phi a plus C2 phi b. So now if we have this wave function and using the variation theorem, if I now would like to calculate the weighted average of the energy, so this is given by the postulates of quantum mechanics here by equation number 3. So we have this equation number 3 and we have this equation number 2 for the wave function. So I can substitute this value of psi in this wave function E. Now to solve this weighted average energy equation, I need the Hamiltonian. So the complete Hamiltonian for such a system of hydrogen molecular ion, if you look in INSET, we have drawn a figure for the sake of convenience that there are two nucleus A and B and there is only one electron. So out of these two atoms of hydrogen, one is hydrogen atom and another is hydrogen plus. So if I try to define the geometry, the distance between this one nucleus and electron is Ra, and distance between the second nucleus and this electron is Rb, and distance between these two nucleus is capital R. So this is internuclear distance. Now based on this geometry, if I try to define the Hamiltonian, it will take this form of equation number 4, wherein these two terms, nebula A square and nebula B square, they corresponds to nuclear terms, and this particular term corresponds to electronic term, whereas now these E square upon Ra minus E square upon Ra minus E square upon Rb plus E square upon R, these are the actual potential energy terms. So in atomic unit, if I try to use these assumptions, I can write down this equation number 4 in little simpler form, that is this the Hamiltonian H cap is equal to particularly this form. However, once again, if I use Born-Oppenheimer approximation and I apply it to equation number 5, since the nucleus are heavier, much heavier than this electronic part, and therefore I can actually write down this equation 5 to this form, that is H cap is equal to minus 1 upon 2m nebula square minus E square upon Ra minus E square upon Rb plus E square upon capital R. Now we will use this Hamiltonian and we will use this wave function to calculate the weighted average of energy. So actually we will not go into detail, however let us see how it takes the shape. So if I substitute the value of psi in equation 3, that is this, and if I try to write down the integrals which come across the solution of this weighted average in this particular form, there are certain particular notations we will see. So this weighted average takes the shape of this equation number 7, wherein this HAA, HAB, HBB in the denominator SAA, SAB and SBB have got these meanings which are shown here. So HAA is actually the integral of phi a into H cap phi a deta. Similarly, HBB is integral of phi b H cap phi b deta. And obviously at later stages we can see that how they can how they are normalized. Similarly, HAB is equal to HBA, since they are Hermitian operators case. So integral phi a H cap phi b deta, or it can also be written as integral phi b H cap phi a deta. Similarly, this SAA can be written in this shape, and if we substitute these values, these integrals into this, the equation number 7 indicates the weighted average form of the energy. Now further, if I would like to utilize this weighted average expression, and if I would like to solve this particular part, so according to variation theorem, my next job becomes to minimize this particular energy with respect to the variables. So what are my variables? C1 and C2 are my variables. So what would be my job? According to variation principle, in order to find out the energy, my job will be to differentiate this weighted average of energy with respect to variable C1 and variable C2 and equate them equal to 0. This will be called as minimization of energy. Why we can do like this? Because energy will be minimum or this expression of del E by del C1 or del E by del C2 can be equated to 0, since the energy will be minimum at that point, and therefore I can write down these two expressions, that del E by del C1 is equal to 0 and del E by del C2 is equal to 0. That means if I try to solve this, I get this equation number 8 and 9 of this form. So if you see, there are certain coefficients of this variable C1 and C2 in both the expressions of 8 and 9. So equation 8 and 9 forms a set of two simultaneous equations now. And the essential condition for these equations to have a non-trivial solution is that the determinant of the coefficients of C1 and C2 should vanish. That means the determinant has to be equal to 0, and that can be solved further. So if we go for its solution, we get this particular form. So coefficients of C1 and C2 from both the expressions 8 and 9, if I substitute it in the form of determinant and equate it to 0, I get this form. So if we would like to solve this, determinant, we can use these notations or assumptions that SAA, that is the normalized form of this function, that is integral of phi a theta, that is phi a square theta is equal to 1, that is equal to phi b square theta is equal to 1, and which is equal to SBB, and therefore this SBB and this AA becomes equal to 1. Moreover, this SBA and SAB can be written in this form, and that it can be written as the capital S. So these two form will give S. And if I try to solve this, I get the energy form, two values for this energy. One is in the case of the even parity, and another is in case of the odd parity. So this even parity, that is, we indicate in German terms that Gerade or even parity, and therefore this energy is represented as Eg, and which is known as HAA plus HAB upon 1 plus S. And similarly, the unGrade part, that is anti-symmetrized part, is EU, which is equal to 1 HAA minus HAB upon 1 minus S. So this particular values of energy, that is Gerade and unGrade part, that is for even parity and for odd parity, I get two values of energy, that is upper bound and lower bound of the energy. We will see very shortly what they mean. And similarly, if I further go for its solution, and if I substitute these integrals and if I try to solve these integrals, I get to know that I get these values on solution, that C1 is equal to C2, or at the most C1 is equal to minus C2. And if I substitute these values, I can find out the notations in the form of wave functions, and these wave functions are like wave function corresponding to even parity, that is psi g, which is of this form of equation number 14, and it is known as bonding molecular orbital. And the unGrade or odd parity wave function will take this form, and which is known as anti-bonding molecular orbital. These bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbital can be plotted, or their square wave function can be plotted to find out the probability density. So it is easy now to show that the two atomic orbitals, say phi a and phi b, are orthogonal to each other. What I mean to say is, if I try to take integrals of this phi a plus phi b into phi a minus phi b theta, I can very easily show that it is integral of phi a square theta minus integral of phi b square theta, and both of them they equal to 1 minus 1, and therefore they can be equal to 0, and therefore their orthogonality I can show very easily. And therefore we find that the linear combination of two atomic orbitals has given two orthonormal molecular orbital for hydrogen molecular ion, and which is very similar to that of orthonormal atomic orbitals in case of hydrogen atom. So this is nothing but very similar case of the atomic orbital of hydrogen atom. We call in this case as molecular orbital, since there are two nucleus. However, the sharing of electron is only, electron which is shared is only one. Now these two wave functions and their squares are plotted and are shown over here. The one that corresponds to bound state shows the electron density has piled up between the two nuclei, just for the sake of simplicity and understanding, I have taken these nuclei in between here just to show the both the states. So the one which corresponds to bound state shows the electron density piled up between the two nuclei, whereas the wave function that corresponds to the unbound state has a node between the two nuclei, and because this psi g or even parity psi describes the state that exhibits a stable chemical bond is called as bonding molecular orbital. Say we can see here in this case they sum up, and also the psi u or odd parity wave function corresponds to the state that is everywhere repulsive, and hence it is termed as antibonding molecular orbital. Now in molecular orbital theory, this psi g represents the ground state of hydrogen molecular ion, and the antibonding molecular orbital or antibonding orbital psi u describes an excited state, and that is the force that holds the two nuclei together, which is actually the say the resultant Coulombic repulsion between two nuclei and the attraction of electron by the two nuclei. So if you try to see here, they combine. So the bonding molecular orbital will have lower energy, whereas the anti-bonding molecular orbital will have higher energy, and which is of this fashion. I mean, there will be a node wherein there is no possibility of finding an electron, and this node will indicate that it is not bonding. I mean, this is anti-bonding molecular orbital, and this particular part is bonding molecular orbital, wherein these two atomic orbital they combine to sum up, and therefore it gives the elliptical shape wherein there is a probability of finding an electron, and therefore it lowers its energy, and this its energy is always lesser than the energy of the two individual atomic orbitals. Further, the other approach, if I try to see for this LCAO approximation, is that according to wave mechanics, an orbital is characterized by its wave function. This we all know, and therefore according to LCAO approximation, the wave function of molecular orbital is obtained by either adding or subtracting the wave function of atomic orbital. So this can be added up or this can be subtracted up. So the probability of finding the electron is given by the square of the wave function by squaring this equation 14 and 15 that we have just now seen, wherein the bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbitals have formed. And if we sum up, we get this psi square of G-rayed part, that is even parity part, and psi square of this un-G-rayed wave function part. So these expressions corresponds to this kind of expression, that is equation number 16 and 17. So if you try to see these two atomic orbitals, herein you can see that these are the individual atomic orbital, and this particular part phi a square and phi b square, herein also phi a square and phi b square, they indicate the individual spherical electron cloud. Likewise, however, where they differ by this term. In one case, this particular part, that is 2 phi a phi b, is plus, that is it is in addition to this two part, and in other case it is subtracted from this part. That means in one case it is adding up to this phi a square plus phi b square, and therefore the overall energy function which we get is of this form. Whereas in other case, this exactly the same particular part is subtracted from this, and therefore it is antibonding part, wherein it forms the particular electron density has been subtracted from this particular part, and therefore these two atomic orbitals, they takes the shape like this. That means the probability of finding the electrons becomes nullified over here, and it comes basically to this lower level. So we can explain this particular part using this figure very easily here. So it can be interpreted from these equations that the probability of finding an electron is more in bonding molecular orbital by a factor of this 2 phi a phi b, while the probability of finding an electron is less in antibonding molecular orbital and will be present at the center of two nuclei, and thus will provide a more stable molecule. Hence, the bonding molecular orbital has lower energy. You can see here, if I talk in terms of energy, it will be of this one. This is bonding molecular orbital. This is anti-bonding molecular orbital. So the bonding molecular orbital has lower energy than anti-bonding molecular orbital or than the atomic orbitals, while the anti-bonding molecular orbital will always have energy higher than that of the atomic orbitals. So the energy function of equations previously which we have seen here in form of G-rayed energy and for odd parity energy, it will be given by these equations. We have seen these equations earlier. So they can be further solved by evaluating the integrals of HAA and HAB and for S, and the corresponding values have been plotted against R. So in this case, it is observed that for any value of R, this G-rayed energy or even parity energy is less than EU, that is odd parity energy. You can see here at any point of R, this energy will always have lesser value than this EU. And beyond certain points, this EG becomes negative, whereas this EU will always be positive. The curve EG shows a minimum at R is equal to say 2.49 atomic units, where energy corresponds to minus of 0.065 atomic units, which is equivalent to in electron volts, which is equivalent to 1.76 electron volt. But EU decreases continuously with the increase in R. However, if you see, these values are not at all in good agreement with the experimental values of energy and bond length. A little improvement can be observed with the Colson treatment of modifying the first wave function, and further the correction was given by Dickinson approach, wherein he has assumed that the hydrogen atom in a molecule cannot have the spherical electronic charge distribution as an isolated atom. So the charge distribution is polarized on molecular formation, and therefore the basis function to be considered with some P or specifically PZ kind of character. So on solving this wave function with the variation principle and minimization of energy, as we all most of the time do with respect, with respect to the variables, we can find the energy as dissociation equilibrium energy, that is the energy dE, as around 2.65 electron volt, which is somewhere comparable to the experimental value of 2.79 electron volt. And therefore this energy value can also be found out with little satisfaction with the two corrections of the Colson and the Dickinson, and which has been corrected up to 2.65 electron volt and not exactly to the 2.79 electron volt, which is the experimental value. So these are the approaches or the cases which we have observed in case of molecular orbital theory application to hydrogen molecular ion. It would be very interesting to see the application of this LCAO-MO approach to hydrogen molecule ion, hydrogen molecule, and this molecular orbital approach or valence bond approach to hydrogen molecule. That will give the actual insight of these theories when it applies to diatomic molecules. wherein there are involvements of two nuclei and the two electrons. These approaches we can study in the latter part of this lecture or the next part of this lecture series, wherein we can see how the valence bond approach and the molecular orbital approach can be applied to the hydrogen molecule, and therein it will be very interesting to see what are the comparisons between the valence bond theory and the molecular orbital theory, and therefore this we will discuss in our next lecture. However, all in all, we have now gone through the molecular orbital features, and we have tried to apply it to hydrogen molecular ion. The overall features, if we try to summarize for molecular orbital theory, these are: in this case, let us see one by one the features of molecular orbital theory, which we have seen now. So when isolated atomic orbitals have comparable energy, they combine and their combination is linear. It is called as linear combination of atomic orbital, and that is what we call it as LCAO. The overlap may lead to the addition or subtraction of the wave function. This we have seen during this lecture. Also, we have seen that the number of molecular orbitals formed is equal to the number of atomic orbitals mixed. That means the two atomic orbital, if they combine, they will form two molecular orbitals. Also, the shape of molecular orbital MO depends upon the shape of atomic orbitals from which they are formed. That means the shape of molecular orbital will be governed by the shape of atomic orbitals, that whether they belong to S atomic orbital or P atomic orbital. Accordingly, the bond formation will take place, and their geometry will shape of the molecular orbital will be analyzed. Also, the molecular orbital have definite energy similar to atomic orbital. When two atomic orbitals are mixed, two molecular orbitals are formed, obviously. So one has energy lower than the contributing atomic orbital, while the other has energy higher than that of the contributing atomic orbitals. This we have seen. In case of even parity, the energy goes down, wherein we form the energy is given by Eg, and the other part of molecular orbital, that is Eu, will have always higher energy. Each molecular orbital can contain two electrons at the most, similar to atomic orbital, and which actually means that the Pauli exclusion principle and Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity holds good in this case also. Also, the electrons are filled in various molecular orbitals according to increasing order of their energies. It means that the filling of electron takes place according to Aufbau principle, and therefore these features has led us to the analysis of very important theory, that is molecular orbital theory and LCAO MO approach, which we apply to the simple molecular systems. Herein in this lecture we have seen its application to molecular hydrogen molecule ion, and in our next lecture we will see its application of the molecular orbital theory application and valence bond theory application to hydrogen molecule, and then actually it would be interesting to see their comparison, and we will discuss its comparison in this same lecture subsequently. Thank you friends, this is the end of this lecture.